weird, right?
There must be a bunch of people living in a jungle that just get hit by coconuts all day.
It happens, apparently. Ah, there you go. The odds of anything are sometimes weird. Let's jump into game number 1, as we have Ultrazeem Stronghold, our map, spawning down to the bottom right-hand corner. We have our red Zerg, Mr. Acer Nerchio, and up to the top left, we have our blue Protoss. It's MaNa. I may have made that up. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Sorry. All right.
Did you know more people die from jumping off skyscrapers than people on the motorway?
Well,
Did you know,
I don't know.
It's more likely to have an accident if you are walking under a ladder than on top of a ladder?
Nice. Did you know that baby dolphins have mustaches?
I did, actually. I knew that one.
Did you? Oh, damn.
I saw it on the Discovery Channel.
Oh, okay. You picked me.
So, one of the largest maps here. I'd expect to see a greedy opening from MaNa. I really doubt Nerchio could ever do an early pull to try to get away with it. So, I mean, he's going to open up with one gateway here. I wonder if he goes straight for the Nexus behind this, or whether he just tries to play a regular game and say, you know what, there could be that chance that, of course, I would lose to a 6 pull because it's Nerchio and stuff like that happens. So, I mean, MaNa's build is rather regular so on out, and to be honest, so's is Nerchio's. 15 pull versus a gateway opening.
Yeah.
Nobody's trying to take the size of the map into their own court.
I actually think this map is double the size of Heavy Rain if you look at it. Yeah, it's double the size. So this is by far the biggest map we've had for quite a while. Ever since, I think, Calm Before the Storm. And in some aspects, I mean, this map really reminds me of Calm Before the Storm. Not only the back pocket expansion, but just the flow of the game in general.
And do remember that we talked about the Nerchio Stardust rivalry earlier on, about how they played a lot against each other and it's been back and forth. Well, this rivalry between two Polish players has been kind of there forever as well.
Yeah.
When it comes to StarCraft 2. And in all this series that they've played against each other, MaNa has only ever won 1. And that is 1, as in the number 1.
It's tough.
Over a lot of series. The number exact is in double digits. It's crazy. Nerchio just doesn't lose to this guy.
That's really brutal. And MaNa, well, he's already sent out his probe to scout around. He really needs to find out where his opponent is pretty quickly. There's a Nexus going to go down, and then from this point on is where the options will unfold. I am expecting Stargate. Anything other than that for me is very, very strange.
Well, he's credit boost into the Cybercore. Something you wouldn't see if he was trying to rush out Stargate, I don't think.
I suppose you could go for some gateway pressure.
Well, it's a large map. It's hard to scout.
Yeah. And that probe is going to head straight on down here. It's going to spot this base. Now, does he reveal this probe is the question. Because getting another probe over there later on is tough. The Overlord just spotted that, actually.
Well, the Zergling sees Chronoboost in the Cybercore. I think that's pretty big.
Yeah.
Doesn't really know what's going on, but I think upon seeing that, you've got to be like, wait a minute. And start to wonder what is MaNa planning. And there's already gateways coming down, and not just a couple. There's 2, and there's going to be a 3rd here. If he wants to wait a little bit more, there could be another one. But 4 gateways immediately, a probe in the middle of the map. But this was all spotted by a little Zergling that saw Chronoboost.
The little Zergling that could. I should rephrase my option of the Stargate and say, if you're going to play out the game long, Stargate's a brilliant option. But now, MaNa's just going for that full-on aggression. 4 gateways worth of it, in fact. And that probe hasn't been spotted. It's actually brutally difficult to spot a probe on this map as a Zerg.
I mean, Nerchio's already through that Zergling, which got up there, which is very fortunate for him. He's already started to build a spine crawler and added on a couple of Zerglings already. He's got an Overlord on the right-hand side. He's moving a Zergling to the perfect position.
Wow.
He's covering both high grounds, which are close to his base, which is where a probe could be hidden. He's found the probe, and he's going to guess that the pylon is up there as well. I mean, if it's not on the right-hand side, it's probably on the left. He's got the Roach Warren coming in. Is he going to be able to defend this attack?
Very good movement by Nerchio there. And then, you know, with the distance of the pylon, this gives Nerchio a little bit more time to get the setup
closer.
Yeah, and there he goes with that, does MaNa. So, very important. All right, well, The defense will begin. The 2 queens come down.
There's a lot of units here, and Roach is going to follow this up soon as well. Doesn't have a lot of gas for the Roaches. You'd only be able to build a couple. But I think that Nerchio is looking pretty decent at the moment. Let's find out how many more Zealots are going to come in. 3 more, 7 in total, I think that is, or 8.
It's difficult. Very difficult for Nerchio to, well, MaNa to transition
the
from
ramp
this.
as well, but all the Zerglings are down already.
Yeah, that's a lot here, especially with the Queen support as well. The Spinecrawler has been isolated, so it's not going to be able to take part in the fight for now.
Those Roaches are just going to be so critical to this fight, and already the Stargate's been thrown down. Nerchio even has an Overlord inside his opponent's base too, so he can see the follow-up and when it's been started, so he knows how much commitment there is going to be to this attack.
A difficult place that MaNa is in currently here. Nerchio just trying to wiggle on around. Those Roaches are about to pop. Force Field will go on the ramp to deny some reinforcements if he gets the position correct. But still, that's so many Zerglings. So many Zerglings.
Yeah, he's not going to be able to stop this, is he?
Nope.
I mean, MaNa, that is.
Oh, yeah, he's not going to be able to stop dying. That's the question. That's the thing you're trying to point out. MaNa loses his sentries. He's going to lose a lot of these Zealots. And even the Queens just haven't died.
Yep, this is perfect. And 9 drones right behind it. Just excellent Zergling scout from the get-go. So one single chrono boost into the Cybercore. He knew what was coming. And even the follow-up sees the Stargate, sees the Oracle. So we have 14 drones, and from an Oracle being built, I'd expect maybe a couple of Spore Crawlers to come down next. Maybe an additional Queen, just to make sure he is safe. He's going to go clean up that pylon on the left-hand side, maybe put a bit of pressure on his opponent's front door, and just drone up. He's in drone heaven. Yeah,
the sentries will be able to hold on to the ramp here for MaNa, so that's nice for him, but during all of that, the layer's going to be morphing in. Nerchio's going to have free reign over this map, and then as a Protoss player here, if your Oracle's not going to do damage elsewhere, then you need to find maybe other bases that Nerchio's going to throw down. And there's actually a pylon over on the right-hand side here for MaNa, which is a very nice addition because, again, bases can just spring up whenever they want.
I wonder which is the best way for Nerchio to play this from here on out, because the standard response on a small map would be, all right, let me go to the Hydralisk den. Because you know he's gone Stargate, you know he's playing from a slower economy because he's dedicated to this kind of attack.
Yeah.
And you would go Hydras, but this map is so big that I don't think it's as viable. Sorry, so maybe it's Hydra's Nidus or something to use the Nidus for him to get over there fast. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly which way he's gonna go. I doubt it's a Spire though, because seeing the Stargate so early on, it doesn't make too much sense. I don't think.
I would like to see the Nidus play. Nice transfuse to save that Queen.
Didn't even get any drones. Really, really bad there with that Oracle.
And well, he only adds on a 5th gas geyser at the 3rd base, so I really don't think it's going to be Spire either. Oh, then again, he did just add on the 6th. But if you were going for Spire, I would imagine him just throwing down both of those at the same time, making it a very, very swift action.
Yeah, I think he would have mined gas a little bit earlier on to get the maximum amount of gas he could do earlier. And he's going to move over there with a couple of Speedlings and maybe try to get a denial on this 3rd, but I don't think that's going to be too smart. I mean, not too smart, but it's not going to work. There's enough Zealots and Sentries with the Void Ray Mothership Core here to deny, I think. But I'm interested to see what tech choice are you going to choose, Nerchio?
Oh, it is going to be the Spire after all of that.
So he's going to try the Spire here. Okay, that's fine to do so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess a player against a player who is committing to Void Rays, which are on a map like this, it's a far more defensive unit than a Phoenix would be generally to try and put on some harassment over the other side. Then this could work out. It depends on when MaNa sees it.
Yeah. I don't think for a long time, because he's going to be very focused on trying to keep this 3rd alive.
Yeah, the Zerglings trying to wrap around this army. Nice force field, choking off a lot of these from getting in. Still very nice force field control. Very patient force field control, but there's no cannon there to build. Well, I mean, the Void Ray is the sufficient defense instead of the cannon.
So it's going to be an air-on-air battle. Probably end up being Mutilus and Corruptor versus Void Ray Phoenix, I'd imagine here. A 2nd Stargate has been added on. MaNa still without any indication on what exactly he's playing against, whether it comes to Hydralisks or Mutalisks, but I think he was probably going along the same thought process as that. Excuse me, as I was. It's hard to place Hydralisks on this map. It's too big. It's a long way to go over the other side. It gives the Protoss player a lot of time. Reinforcements don't get there as fast. And Nerchio's style has always been favored towards Mutalisks, or at least air, should I say. So I think he's probably guessing that that's going to be the case. He's starting to build Phoenixes, and you wouldn't build Phoenixes if it was anything other than Mutalisks, so he's definitely expecting his opponent to go down that tech choice.
He even sees this base down at the bottom, sees the extractors being added on extremely quickly there for Nerchio. Meanwhile, added, as you said, adding on all of those Stargates, it just, you know, it does go down that same thought process. But behind all of this, the important thing here for Nerchio is that because the map's so huge, he just takes bases wherever he wants, whenever he wants.
He's got 5 bases, all mining gas against a Protoss player who's on 3 bases. He's got a 6th base that can be utilized. And this is the downside from the Protoss perspective. How can you whack-a-mole so many bases on a map so big like this? You can't keep them down. And I'm surprised that we don't even see a second Spire yet from Nerchio. You might as well just build a second Spire and upgrade twice at once here. He's dedicating fully to this. He's even going to mine gas from the 6th base. His gas income is going to be reaching the 2,000 mark or just below the 2,000 mark eventually when he starts mining from everything here. Absolutely unbelievable play from, or a very unbelievable economic play from Nerchio, which is going to be very difficult to combat here for MaNa.
And he knows how many Mutalisks there are on the field after seeing, well, a good flock of them there with that Observer in the middle of the map. But likewise, MaNa knows the disadvantages that he has on this map, which is that whack-a-mole style that he needs to incorporate, like you mentioned. So that pylon over on the right was there, set up for bases on the right-hand side. He's also got a pylon on the left, actually warping across some rocks, which is a really cool play there from MaNa. That's going to have to draw Nerchio back.
And he needs to slow down this, really, doesn't he? He's got a pylon on the top right as well. So if he's able to destroy this base in the bottom, or at least find a way to keep on harassing it and also harass at the top, he's found a way to slow the economy of Nerchio. But the Zealots at the top right, they're not even going to go to the 6th base. He's not even expecting Nerchio to have a 6th base at this time.
Wow. That's overshadowed there.
Yeah, well, he sees the drones. I hope he blinking well knows now.
Yeah, he needs to turn around. Or at least, actually, I guess he could use them in another location. But, I mean, the Mutalisks are always just going to clean them up and kill them. And a little bit of a waste.
Yeah. And now with his opponent on 6 bases, 200 gas per base, 1,200 gas a minute, 12 Mutalisks a minute. Absolutely incredible. So much income available to him very shortly. I mean, well, the Phoenixes are here, but there are no Corruptors to support these at all yet.
Yeah, and he does have Onion Pulse Crystals about to finish.
Okay, they are with them, sorry.
Yeah, they join. But the thing is that MaNa with those Zealots did buy himself a good chunk of time to get these Phoenix numbers up, right, as well as finish Onion Pulse Crystals. So at least he didn't incur any damage back home. He's got his 4th base on the way, but Zerglings and Mutalisks, if all that army moved over there, he could put on quite a bit of pressure.
And Nerchio's setting up a trap for these Phoenixes. He's got the Infestation Pit down. He's got Pathogen Glands on the way. If he was even to maybe get Burrow or something, which I don't think he has yet, I mean, he could burrow on the ground and then jump up and catch the Phoenixes. But whatever the case, the trap is still there. If he catches these Phoenixes with a fungal, they will all die. And MaNa has no idea about it.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. It really is. He does have an Observer in the middle of the map that he could try and use to spot that out, but right now he's more focused entirely on the Phoenix numbers.
That Observer may spot the Infestors if he doesn't. Yeah, he does. So he's seen the Infestors, so he should realize that they're out, and this is definitely a scary point. But these Infestors don't have the energy available. Lucky, lucky you.
Very much so. Now, the Phoenix, if they continue with air upgrades, can continue to challenge this pretty heavily as he has to dance away from Corruptors. They do a lot of damage to them, but he's adding on the Templar Archives here. Probably to go up to Storm and Archons, like, well, at least Storm, derp. But he has a few idle probes in his 3rd base, actually.
Yeah, a bit of a small mistake there. So now it's going to be... there's the catch.
That's very nicely done. Lifts up the remaining ones, though, so he's actually going to be able to get away with a lot of these Phoenix if he wants to, and it kills off every single Corruptor.
Where's the rest of his army? That wasn't all of it, was it?
You mean for
Nerchio's army?
I don't know. It's kind of elsewhere.
He should have had the Mutalisks there, too. I'm not sure why they weren't there together. Once you trap them, I mean... Sure, Phoenixes are great against them, but when they're not moving...
He was trying to shoo away the Warp Prism that's down in the bottom right with the Mutalisks, etc.
Okay. If they were all there together, that would have been much better. He's lost all the Infestors now.
When it came to the Templar Archives, I was trying to determine which one he really wanted, which I'm assuming is Storm, but then I just kind of said both, and I was like, wait a minute, that's the stupidest thing I've ever said. But Mutalisks now, just still dancing around in the middle of the map. For Nerchio, he's really indecisive in this game. He can't really push out too hard.
Zealots on the right-hand side. MaNa's dealing with this playstyle really well.
Yeah.
You know, he's used his Phoenixes efficiently so far. He's been harassing the Mineral Alliance with this pylon up to the top right.
Yeah, he's
even getting into the drone line of Nerchio here. He's hurting Nerchio for once.
24 kills. It's almost as if this should be a complete reverse situation, and Nerchio should be the one doing this damage. But MaNa has played this game out really, really well.
There are 2 infestors, but they're not really the fungal. If you can just land a couple of fungals on these guys.
Yeah, and there's still more Zealots just streaming into this 6th base. Now, of course, this 6th base, I want to say, was more of a luxury for Nerchio than anything, because he still has a million gas geysers over other locations, but it's not nice to have this shut down, it's taken significant damage.
The infestors are coming, by the way.
Yeah,
They're very
where are
close.
they?
If they can land a fungal on these Phoenixes, I know there's not that many of them left, but still.
Getting rid of him would mean that he was able to put on some pressure over the other side of the map at least, which would be nice for him. Yeah. Where are you, Infestors?
Well, so far, MaNa's done really well. He's got a 4th base, uncontested at all. He just has it. He's got a decent amount of Void Rays being built up. He has Storm on the way. Nerchio is moving forwards. Quite a lot of Mulas, quite a lot of Corruptors here. Void Rays, Stalkers, and Phoenixes together. I think he should be able to hold off against this. He's got a decent supply, and if that +2 completes in 5 seconds, which it is going to, then it should be okay, I think.
Yeah, he's doing all right, his MaNa. 195 against 186 supply in total. The Phoenix going to go straight in for the engagement onto those Mutalisks and push those away. He only got like 5 kills on the probes during that small assault.
Yeah, MaNa's confident to take this fight.
And he's going to go straight for it. Void Rays charge up, and they're going to land a lot of damage onto those Corruptors very quickly. But a fungal or 2 did hit that. Nice. Storms actually ripped through all of that air army, but I think he's going to have enough in the end. The Corruptors are actually holding their own pretty well against this.
It's close, but he does win out at the end.
Yeah.
He does win out in the end, but still, there's a Warp Prism that's managed to get into the main base here, and of course all the units are on the other side, so that is a great Warp Prism.
Big Zealot warp in. Charge is not done yet for them, so it's not the most efficient of harassments, but it's still enough to draw Nerchio back, give MaNa breathing time, give him time to add on more Phoenix, and continuously add on to a strong army.
Yeah, MaNa can take a 5th base now, and probably should be wanting to send maybe some Zealots to the right-hand side again from his 4th or something. But so far, so good on this large map from both sides. I think MaNa's dealing with this style really, really well. That Nerchio is very good at this style. He's played a lot of games like this. But overall, Air is good if you can keep the Protoss economy down.
Yeah.
But the Protoss economy is not really that low. It's kind of high. And if he's able to take a 5th base soon, which I'm sure is definitely something they want to do, is his natural is about to mine out, then if he establishes a 5th base and is able to continue to build up a large army, I think this game starts to swing, in favor of MaNa.
Yeah, the Zealots everywhere have really been just the
pure Zealots going to
grace.
the top right. This is perfect.
Exactly. He never gives Nerchio the opportunity to really apply the one time he's been able to apply pressure is the one time that MaNa was like, all right, that's fine. I've just finished Storm. I've just got my almost maxed army out, so I'm happy to take that engagement.
I think that there should be some more Void Rays added in again. There's only 2. There was 5 before in the last fight, unless he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't want to use Void Rays. I think they'd be nice to use in here.
Would Archons, I think, make it easier in the...
They should use everything, really.
Yeah.
You as a Protoss player, you want to be reusing everything. So there's the Void Rays being added on, which is good. But this is a nice move from Nerchio. He's going to deny the 5th base. This is probably where his army should have been, actually, MaNa's army. Should have been around that 5th base, protecting that. Because he really needs that 5th base up to be able to keep up with building a good army and keep up with the economy which Nerchio has set himself.
And one lonely Corruptor gets caught out. Whilst these Infestors were trailing behind this army, so maybe we could have seen a fungal, but there's not that many fungals actually left over in those 2 Infestors, so it would be hard to really chain and get much done.
Yeah, and there's still quite a bit of excess minerals that MaNa has, so he should be trying to keep up the harassment.
Yeah.
Whether it be a new Warp Prism in the game, whether it be sending some units down. He's got a pylon to the top right again. I think it can go over the rocks, and I think he'll use that, but for now, I don't think MaNa's quite ready to fight yet, but he may have to. Especially because his Phoenix is getting locked down.
Yeah, we're getting pummeled for a second there by the Corruptors as they turn around and go straight for the fight once again. But Guardian Shield has been activated, so all, or the majority, apart from the Zerglings, of that damage will be deterred.
Yeah. Right now, MaNa, I think he should use that pylon at the north and put Zealots over the rocks again. If he can find the breathing time to do so, do that while getting ready to take a fight.
Small assault, actually quite a large assault, going over to this 4th base. Nice Storm will kill off a lot of those Zerglings. Another Storm does hit, but kind of a whiff in the end as the Phoenix try and push them away as well. And noticeably, Nerchio does also see that pylon up the north.
Nerchio needs to use his mobility too. I'd go to the 5th base if I was Nerchio right now, but then again, if I was MaNa, I'd also use the Zealots at the north at that pylon still. If Nerchio's able to kill this 5th base again, he's still re-expanding, which Nerchio is. He's still gathering more money, but if he keeps this 5th base down,
Yeah, that's all of Nerchio's
Yeah,
focus
nice
right
move
now.
by Nerchio.
Very, very well done. And his air armada is absolutely fantastic. I mean, 22 Corruptors, 27 Mutalisks. He just needs to make sure that those Archons don't get a few free volleys off.
Yeah. I think it would be really nice if he'd use maybe a couple of Observers in this game, just around the middle of the map.
He's going to lose a few Corruptors there for free. But in the grand scheme of things, Nerchio can replenish those, but they really trail behind the rest of his army. Just then, a great fungal will hit.
Where's the Storm,
entirety. Oh, but the Storm actually rips everything to pieces.
Yeah, that was brilliant. I don't think you saw the High Templar there. That was
Yeah.
a brilliant couple of Storms.
And
Oh, slow Banelings. That's kind of awkward. Super awkward.
That's not
Super
done.
awkward.
That was the most inefficient gas usage I've ever seen.
Super awkward. That was really weird. All right, now MaNa's got breathing time again. Go take the 5th base, harass again. He's got the Warp Prism out. I think he still should have used that Pylon and Cannon and then use the Warp Prism down south. But he's got Zealots down south, but it's going to get cleaned up. And has he got Pylons down there?
Actually, I think he can get that hatchery with those Zealots. It's going to be really, really close. No, never mind.
But he's got the Warp Prism up the top, which is nice.
Yeah.
And he's got Marching Zealots finally, because you can pick off that hatchery really easy with just Marching Zealots. And he's now got his 5th base. He's got to be careful. I really think Observers should have been used, or maybe should be used a little bit more in the middle of the map. Just maybe because you can see his army a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because MaNa's got no idea where his army's going to be, and he needs to know whether he needs to defend the front lines or defend his new 5th base.
Bye-bye expansion lures us away. Actually, noticeably, only 3 Phoenix still alive now. So he's trying to add those numbers up once again. These Mutalisks. Did he ever start 3-3? No, he didn't. But he's just, as you say, transitioning on field.
High Templars! Gonna get sniped!
Well,
2 of them get sniped.
Tries to make a good meal of it. There's a lot of Mutalisks that are weak there, but they are going to fly to the corner of the map and just heal up.
Yeah, I guess there's a small window of opportunity for MaNa to do some damage now that the Mutalisks are weakened, but they're going to heal rather fast. And he's got to be careful because there are Ultralisks out now as well as a lot of more Corruptors.
Just, look how quickly all those Mutalisks have already healed. They just went away for a second, and now
MaNa's got to be careful here. I think he could lose his entire army. I really think he'd lose his army here. But he's also out of position, and Nerchio may be going for that 5th again.
Mothership Core is just used for the entire defense, so there's no even opportunity to recall or anything like that. The Ultras now marching
race
forward.
to the 5th.
I think he's going to get there first. Those Mutalisks are pretty quick.
It's a race.
And, well, I mean, I don't think those Phoenix are really going to deter him for a second there.
Yeah, this is a race to the 5th, and Nerchio wins it.
Storm whiffs, 5th even goes down. The Ultralisks are trapped, but I think that's a good trade. Oh, actually, he's just going to continue on with this fight there. One Colossus decides to have an absolute field day.
Yeah, the Void Ray should have been targeting down the Ultras at the back there. They're not going to do anything against the Mutalisks.
Yeah, they're just going to try to trundle on further, but there's still a lot of Zealots being warped in over at this right-hand side, trying to shut down these bases.
Luckily, MaNa's been rather cost-efficient in this game, so the 5th base isn't mattering as much as it should, because he still has quite a bit of money in this game, because he has been cost-efficient with his army. He really hasn't lost as much as Nerchio, who's been just replenishing over and over and over and over.
And, well, the Zealots are just going to continue to try and ransack these bases where they can, which is, again, just, in my opinion, what's really keeping MaNa in this. It's been really, really formidable. It's kept Nerchio back. It's taken a lot of damage from it. He gets another base up to the top right. So, and +3 weapons is about to finish for them, making that Zealot harassment even more potent.
So finally, he's going to try and, establish his 5th, hopefully. He's building cannons immediately. He's got his army there. And the Warp Prism lives. Warp Prism's probably going to go down south now. He's done a lot of damage up north.
Whereabouts is it?
It's in the middle, in between the 3rd and 4th.
There we go. Ah, there you are, yeah. It's hard to spot on this big map. And, well,
Fungal.
Phoenix numbers, again, he's trying to rise with them, but it's still 23 Mutalisks against the 7.
Well, at least MaNa's now got his 5th. Maybe leave a couple High Templars there with cannons just to try to make sure it is safe. And then keep up with the rest of the army. But where's that Warp Prism gone? It hopefully should be going down bottom left.
I mean, this game could happily go on for another half an hour, 40 minutes. There's just so many bases. Technically, MaNa does have good information about the bottom left-hand corner, but
if he snipes this, if he's MaNa's
too much, way too much. And this is the army positioning that we were kind of expecting like 10 minutes ago from MaNa, just to be able to secure this as best he could do. And should be able to push this away again. Yeah. All right. Well, +3 melee is about to finish for Nerchio, and with a lot of Ultralisks, maybe he could actually get a good engagement if his opponent was to engage in the middle of the map. But other than that, oh, Banelings again.
Yeah, this time they have the Baneling speed, so they're going to be a lot more useful.
Yep. How many High Templars does he actually have? He has 8 in total. A few left at bases, but about 4 with the army, fully loaded with energy.
Nerchio might just clamp on this army now. He's going to come around, surround it. Uh-oh, Fungals. Oh, MaNa's in trouble, I think, here.
Oh, he certainly might
be. But still.
Oh, the Banelings also crash into a lot of those Archons. Not really getting the most effective of damage done, but Nerchio just slamming against this. The Ultralists should be able to take out the majority of it, but the Phoenix, fully enough, despite the numbers, will actually rule the roost.
Yeah, that was... well, his army's gone. There's a couple of units left in the sky here.
Yeah.
And a couple of Stalkers to help out, but 13 more Mutalisks. But good harassment again at the north with that Warp Prism still around. Has killed more bases.
And Nerchio's bank just doesn't exist, despite having so many bases.
Yeah.
This
harassment's been fantastic from MaNa.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. It's been relentless, never ever stopping.
And he's got his 5th base, remember, which is the most important part. So even though the armies collided together, MaNa comes out ahead because he has, if you look at the income tab, better income. 600 gas to just 200 gas now.
Wow.
Much, much different between the two of them. His Phoenixes rule the sky now against 13 Mutalisks and 2 Corruptors, which are coming out, so the Phoenixes win now. So MaNa's got control of the sky, which means he's got control of being able to take a 6th base, probably down to the bottom left very shortly here, and is in prime position to build up an army to win the game. This has been a great back and forth, and a great strategical game by both sides, but it is MaNa who has taken quite a substantial lead now.
Yeah, Nerchio's probably just going to end up dying very soon. I mean, the Infestors with almost full energy get picked off by these Phoenix. He's looking to do damage to the drone lines. Anything that MaNa can do here is a total victory. Army supply 85 to 51.
Yeah.
What phenomenal Phoenix and Zealot play here by the Protoss.
And MaNa, even though he's in history meant to lose against Nerchio, is looking pretty good in map number 1 of this best of 3. As Nerchio needs to pull something out of the bag. He's got Zerglings checking bases, Mutalisks checking the left-hand side, Zerglings on the right. But these Phoenixes are just ruling the sky, and that's what's most important right now.
And we never saw that 3-3 for Nerchio. I mean, technically, when it goes into those engagements, it would have been more efficient, but he wanted to commit more to those Ultras. They did a good job on the ground. But then the Storms, I mean, they just dismantled the air in the end.
Yeah, I mean, it's hardly that Nerchio played this bad. I mean, apart from 3-3, I have to agree with you that should have been researched earlier on while he was controlling this game. But it was the consistent and relentless harassment from MaNa which has enabled him to slow his opponent down to where, you know, normally Nerchio never loses. And I think that's one of the strengths of this map, not so much the strength of Protoss or Zerg, but the strength of this map is that it is hard to stop all these pylons and Warp Prisms all over the place. Imagine if MaNa had a bit more gas income throughout these 4 bases. He could have even used DTs, which have been even more efficient in some of these bases.
That would have been very, very scary to deal with, especially, I mean, even if you throw down a Spore Crawler at each base, it's Zealot and DT harassment, it's not enough. You have to have some really good static defense or Overseers everywhere to be able to shut that kind of play down.
And now we have MaNa, who's marching forward with an unstoppable force here. He's got High Templar left at his 5th base to make sure he can keep mining there against these Mutalisks. He's going to go pick off the last couple of mining bases from Nerchio, and Nerchio's going to be forced into a fight that he can't win.
There you go. GG. MaNa takes an amazing game at number 1. Very good from both players, but MaNa, with the constant aggression, able to be victorious.
Yeah, really well done there. So that's map number 1 in favor of MaNa against Ace and Nerchio. And we'll be going into map number 2 straight away here, which I think was maybe Frost. Yeah, I think Frost was the second map between the two of them.
During that game, Nerchio made 182 drones.
Oh, that's a lot of drones.
That is a lot of drones.
So just updating you on the bracket as of right now is that we do have Kane, who we can take a look at the bracket, I suppose, as the bracket is kind of completed and I'd imagine updated here. Of course, in the winner bracket, we did have 4GG and Jack G, 2 qualified players for the Interceptory Masters Cologne, but we're down here in the loser bracket where we are playing the MaNa Nerchio game. But Kane did beat out Titan.
Ah, okay.
Now, Kane goes up against Stardust. Zerg versus Protoss, of course, Stardust known throughout 2013 for his Zerg versus Protoss, or Protoss versus Zerg, should I say. Winner of that against Tefl, who's had a great run in this qualifier, absolutely fantastic run, beating Grubby and Nerchio so far, but lost against 4GG, which some may say would have been expected. So 3 players down at the bottom of this. And then MaNa Nerchio fighting to go towards the finals of the lower bracket.
Yep. It's all about that, as, again, we could have 4 Zergs in contention. Wait, what am I on about? We can't have 4 Zergs in contention for that because we're currently in MaNa versus Nerchio. So MaNa, just scrap that entire idea. MaNa now sitting at 1 game up against Nerchio is just something, to be honest, I wasn't expecting on Ultrazeme. I thought that Nerchio, with kind of the airplay that he uses against Protoss on Ultrazeme, would have allowed him to constantly contain MaNa, but it was the opposite.
Yeah.
Completely the opposite.
Yeah, I think MaNa played the opposite to what everybody was expecting, considering their history together, where we do have MaNa just absolutely dominated when it comes to head-to-head.
Yeah.
He pulled out a great game, and he did go very well. It went very, very well for him. But now coming on to Frost, it's obviously a little bit smaller than the first map that we played. The Zelnaga Towers on this map, so you can actually see a little bit more to what's going on. And I think we may have a more similar style to what we are usually used to seeing. But of course, it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't. According to our Polish admin, Poland is going bonkers over these games.
Well, of course they should be. You've got Nerchio, MaNa, and then Tafel further ahead in this bracket. So 3 great players.
All right, so countdown's begun. Actually, that it guarantees us the fact that we're gonna have a player that isn't a Terran in the tournament, basically, for Cologne. So Frost loading up for game number 2. MaNa, the currently teamless MaNa, need to remind people that.
Yeah, bringing out some good games here.
Yeah. And he's up for grabs. By the looks of things, he is up for grabs for teams down there.
He's single unavailable.
He is. And he's also quite attractive too. All right, let's jump into game number 2, as we have, spawning up to the top right, our red Protoss. He is MaNa. And up to the top left, our blue Zerg. It's Nerchio. So, Nerchio on this map. Interesting spawn locations from the very get-go here.
Yeah, these spawn locations, I do like them from the Zerg perspective here. If they do play a style that we don't see as often, like Zergling Hydralisk is quite good and powerful on this map in these positions. We've seen fantastic players like Roro and Sulky in Pro League and WCS really utilize that playstyle. But it depends on what happens to get to that point. What is MaNa going to do? Already starting up with a gateway opening here against his opponent, or at least will be looking towards getting that gateway very, very soon. Nerchio, so far, in every single game I've seen him play today against Protoss, has opened up spawn and pull, then hatchery. He's not one of those players, from what I can see, in just today and yesterday's games, who likes to go, hatchery first, 3 hatcheries. But maybe he might change that here. I'm not sure.
He could do on a map like this. I mean, he gets no information really with his overlords this early on as to what's going on, but he's already going for the pool, so
yeah.
There we go for Nerchio.
Cutting no corners here, just playing it out super normal.
Yep.
Of course, if he had gone for the hatcheries before spawn and pull, he would have been a little bit vulnerable to any cannon rushes if MaNa had decided, before even loading into this game, to be fair, if he wanted to do that. It could have been a swift 2-0, so he's playing it to the safer side of his opening.
Yep, and again, similar to Nerchio Stardust, there's no love lost between these two players. MaNa's, I wouldn't be surprised actually if MaNa went for a bit of a gateway aggression again on this map, to be honest with you.
He could do, yeah, definitely could do. I mean, he could do a lot of things from a gateway opening. With getting the Cybernetics called down so early, which is one of the biggest strengths of this, he can just play a fast Stargate. He can go Twilight Council from this for some wacky DT play, which Naniwa had been using towards the end of 2013. He could go Robotics Facility for an Immortal push, which MaNa had used himself throughout 2013. So there's a lot of different options to be chosen from. And that's going to be very important for Nerchio with an Overlord heading towards that base to find out. Second guess if it's there or not. If it's not, then you expect gateways. If it is, what kind of tech is there?
First Zealot does pop out here for MaNa whilst trying to grab his expansion.
He doesn't cancel the Zealot here. Just a lot of Protoss players do like to cancel it to get a bit of a faster Nexus. And it is a safety guard, the Zealot. So if you look at both of these players, they do play relatively safe. Spawn and pull, then hatchery, and keeping the Zealot here. But look at that. MaNa is chrono boosting the gateway. This could be for a gateway timing, or it could be for a fast third with gateway support to help keep that third base up alive. But At least this time, the Zergling isn't going to see it being chrono boosted.
And this is the first information that Nerchio's really got about this game. So he's taken his third before actually even getting any gas
Yeah, he does
against
this
the gateway.
every time, though.
Yeah.
It's something that I thought wasn't too viable because it was harder to defend against a lot of Zealots, but he makes it work.
Yeah, he like makes a huge amount of Zerglings with no speed when he's defending against this
And
kind of
MaNa,
play.
because he scouted Nerchio last or didn't scout him at all, has the ability to keep a probe alive without showing it to Nerchio to use to harass the third base. And I think MaNa's identified that Nerchio is playing this gasless style and defending with only Zerglings. So what MaNa looks to be doing with only a single gas is saying, all right, well, let's really test how good you are at defending this.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to go for it. He's going to be building quite a few Zealots there. And let's see how good Nerchio's defense actually is against early 4 gateway pressure. There's a reason why a lot of Zergs always got gas, right?
Yeah.
There has to be.
Definitely. It just makes it that little bit easier, or at least that is the conformed thought when it comes to this. But look at this. This pylon is just shy of being spotted by this Overlord on the left-hand side. And
yeah, he might see the warp-ins, though, so it depends on which
he
side
may.
MaNa warps in. But either way, I mean, we're going to see a Roach Run come down because that's how Nerchio deals with it. He doesn't get Zergling speed. He just gets Roaches, but the Overlord doesn't see it.
This is tough, especially if he sticks around and warps in a few more. But that being said, Nerchio has just got packs of Lings.
All right, he sees it now.
Ah,
The Roach Run has to come down immediately. There's no time to get Zergling speed here.
This third. I actually...
right.
12 Lings are about to pop, but these Zealots are going to get in advantageous position very quickly. And the Mothership Core is already there as well.
Yeah, so MaNa's really tested Nerchio's defense here. Nerchio thinks he can hold on without trying to get gas early. There's 14 Zerglings, 22 on the way.
Really good focus fire here from Nerchio to bring down some health on that Mothership Core. It makes it harder for the Mothership Core to really stick around, but at the same time, the Zealots are already going to town on this hatchery. They need to come off the line from the hatchery, though, and start trading away from these Zerglings. Otherwise, the Zergling numbers will get too high. He's actually warping in straight next to it, as he did have another pylon added on. This is going to be very hard for Nerchio.
Well, let's find out, because the Roach Warren's just about to complete. He can start to build Roaches, I'd imagine. 28 more Zerglings coming in with 3 Queen support.
There's really not that many Zerglings left, but neither is there that many Zealots warping in right next to the hatchery.
30 more Zerglings, though. That's quite a lot.
I think he's going to be able to do it. The Zealots in the mineral line are well positioned. He's warping in a few more, trying desperately to get them
He's
there.
trying to target the
Zerglings
hatch.
continue.
He knows he can't keep going. He's trying to build the hatch down.
He's going to get it. He's going to get it. It's going to be so close. And he... the
transfuse!
transfuses! The transfuses save it. Perfect here by Nerchio, just barely holding on.
Wow.
Oh, so close.
Again, Nerchio, by the skin of his teeth, defends against this attack.
The Sentry got an Overlord. Good job, Sentry. But yeah, the layer now going down.
But 3 more gateways for a total of 6 now.
Is it going to be
the
enough?
pylon is still there, which hasn't been spotted yet by Nerchio. And MaNa's just going to go for it. He's using this game advantage that he had through winning the first one to just go for it.
Zerglings with the wraparound to spot that pylon, and that's going to fall down. So now there's not really too much opportunity here for MaNa. Oh, wait. He actually pulled back before that. He didn't see the pylon. Huh. He didn't see the pylon. He pulled back just before he was in range of it. So the pylon still goes unnoticed. Wow.
That's quite impressive, actually, because that's going to be the standpoint for MaNa's next attack, who had been mining gas from 2 assimilators for the entire of the game. And that translated over to 7 sentries, with more to come potentially.
Speed could kick in at a very scary time here for MaNa if he delays this push any longer, though.
He's fully walled in with 2 sentries back at home, so there's no counterattacks available, but he's going towards this third. Nerchio with only Zerglings, no Roaches yet.
I think he's going to come in from either side and get a good surround here if Speed's about to finish. It's 2 seconds away from finishing. Oh, but he just gets into the right position just in time. Not too bad force fields, but they did slip out.
All of them.
He slips out.
Oh, the Mothership Core's gone.
Oh, tries to throw it in a time warp in desperation. Force fields need to be good, but the Zerglings do connect with some of those sentries. Force fields haphazardly being thrown down everywhere here. Considering crisis management, he actually didn't lose any of those sentries. And the Zealots are still alive. He needs more Zealots. Where are they? They're on the way. 34 Zerglings in production, but he had the Hydralisk Den all the while. It's just finished.
And he's got a lot of gas to spend. He's got a lot of Zerglings on the way. That third is going to die.
No more force fields left. The Zealots are going to have to stand alone against this. They don't have +1 weapons.
There's a lot of Zealots, though. There's like 16 Zealots there.
Yeah, and they're holding their own quite considerably. All the Zerglings have to float out, have to retreat. Again, he doesn't have +1 weapons, so that's a big deal. But the third hatchery does die.
And that means that's limited production. That's limited economy. And now MaNa is just going to continue to warp in. Zealot Sentry alone against Zerglings. He can hardly even build Hydralisk at this point. It's hardly worth it.
And he's adding on a second Roach War and thinking that he didn't even have one there in the first place. If he'd have had Roaches, maybe this would have been easier to hold on to. But nice force fields once again. All the drones have to come off the line. MaNa might just make this work. There's still a lot of Zealots available to him. 13 survive, 40 army supply to 14. MaNa's done it.
MaNa has won this game. I'm surprised that Nerchio didn't build any Roaches in this game.
Wow.
But either case, that MaNa has done it. Good game.
GG.
And finally, MaNa can scratch another win against Nerchio on his side. He doesn't really beat him very often, but he's now got 2 Series 1 over about 10 to 20. I don't even know the exact number anymore. It's gone that crazy in favor of Nerchio over the years. But congratulations to MaNa, who now moves on to the final of the lower bracket, where he just has to play one more best of 3 to see if he goes on to the main event at the IEM Cologne.
I think for MaNa, leaving Mousebots and looking to prove himself, it feels almost as if he's like got a kick up the butt. And he's the last 2 days he's looked great. He has looked better than the MaNa that I have seen for a long, long time. 2013 was just not his year at any particular moment. But now, actually, I take that back a little bit. He did do well in team leagues against Koreans at the very beginning. But compared to 2012, it just wasn't there for him, and now it's looking good.
That's right. So can he have a good 2014? He, of course, did pretty decent when he went over to GSL, when he was playing against Terran players. He was having a good time a couple of years ago. But then, as you said, he didn't have the best of years last. So let's see what he can do in 2014, but it's not complete for him yet. With still one more best of 3 to go, he will be playing the winner of the My Insanity Clash in the lower brackets, which is, of course, well, the winner. So it would be the winner of the My Insanity Clash versus the winner of TEFL would be playing against MaNa.
Yeah. And as you can see here on the screen, there are your brackets. We already know that MaNa is in that final. And that's how things are going to unfold from this point on.
MaNa's jumped up to loser round 2 up here after that win. And Kane and Stardust is happening right now. And then will, I'd imagine, be jumping into the TEFL game. So TEFL versus the winner of Stardust and Kane. We've got 2 series left for the day.
All right, so I think that is going to do it for just a little bit now, as currently there are games unfolding between Kane and Stardust.
Yep, and I think we'll be jumping into it again after that series is done, I'd imagine.
It seems so, guys. So without further ado, we're going to go to a short break, and then when we're back, we'll have more action from the Intel Extreme Masters Cologne Europe qualifiers.